Namaskaram to everyone. Today, as we gather here, let us remember that we are not separate from the earth beneath our feet, the air we breathe, or the fire that now rages through the land of Los Angeles. The wildfire is not merely a calamity. It is a wake-up call, a stark reminder from nature that we have lost our balance with the elements that sustain us. Wildfires are not just a natural occurrence. They are an expression of nature's deep primal voice, a voice that often speaks softly through the rustle of leaves, the flow of rivers, and the gentle whisper of the wind. But when that voice is ignored for too long, when the balance is upset and the harmony disrupted, nature raises its tone, often in devastating ways. The wildfires sweeping through Los Angeles are not merely flames consuming the land. They are a profound message from the earth itself, reminding us of the delicate equilibrium that sustains all life. We must understand that nature is not an entity separate from us. It is us. The trees that burn are not just wood and leaves. They are part of the same life force that flows through our veins. The air, thick with smoke, carries the same breath that sustains our existence. The animals fleeing the fire are not just creatures in the wild. They are kin, part of the intricate web of life that we all share. When we speak of wildfires as disasters, we must also acknowledge the human hand in their ferocity. Our relentless consumption, the unchecked expansion of our desires, and our disregard for the environment have created conditions that fuel such calamities. Nature does not act out of spite or vengeance. It acts out of necessity, responding to the imbalances we have introduced. These fires are not punishment but a consequence, a reflection of how far we have strayed from living in harmony with the natural world. It is easy to see the smoke and flames and think of destruction, but within this destruction lies a deeper truth. The fire is a force of transformation, a reset that nature undertakes when left with no other choice. While this transformation is painful and heart-wrenching for those who lose their homes, their loved ones, and their sense of safety, it is also an opportunity for any human companion to awaken and truly listen to what nature is trying to tell us. The message is clear. We must change. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. We must recognize that every action we take ripples through the fabric of existence. Every piece of waste discarded without thought, every forest cleared for convenience, every drop of water wasted, it all contributes to the imbalance that leads to such catastrophic events. Let us not dismiss this fire as a distant event happening to someone else. It is a call to each of us, no matter where we are, to reassess how we live and what we value. It is an invitation to rebuild not just the land, but our relationship with it, to move from exploitation to stewardship, from indifference to care, from separation to unity. Nature's message is not one of hopelessness. It is a call to action. It is a plea for humanity to wake up, to realize that we are not masters of this planet, but part of its vast and intricate system. The question is not whether we will hear the message. It is whether we will respond to it with the urgency and commitment it demands. Though if we listen, if we act, if we come together in collective awareness, we can create a future where such fires are not symbols of despair, but reminders of resilience and renewal. Let this be the moment when we not only hear nature's voice, but choose to answer it with respect, humility, and love. In moments like these, when the world watches as wildfires rage across landscapes, consuming everything in their path, we are reminded of an undeniable truth. Life is fragile. It is a truth we often overlook in the rush of our daily existence. We build our homes, our lives, our dreams, believing they are permanent, rooted in solid ground, immune to the chaos of the world. Yet all it takes is a single spark, a fleeting flame, to reveal how vulnerable everything truly is. The fire does not discriminate. It does not pause to consider what is precious to us. It engulfs with equal fervor a tree that has stood for 100 years and a home built with love and care. It reminds us that everything we hold dear, our possessions, our ambitions, even the relationships we treasure, is part of a delicate fabric that can be unraveled in an instant. This fragility is not just a sobering reality but also a profound lesson. In its fleeting nature, life reveals its value. We are often caught up in the illusion of permanence, thinking we have endless time to make amends, to express love, to pursue what truly matters. But life, in its wisdom, teaches us that every moment is precious precisely because it is impermanent. It is in the face of loss, when the fires strip away what we thought would always be, that we are compelled to pause and recognize what is truly important. The wildfires are a stark reminder of how intertwined we are with the elements: fire, earth, air, and water. They are not forces separate from us, they are part of the same delicate balance that sustains our existence. When one of these elements rises in fury, it is not just a natural event, it is a moment that lays bare the tenuous thread that holds life together. It humbles us, bringing us face to face with our own vulnerability and the vulnerability of everything around us. And yet, in this fragility lies an immense strength. Life's impermanence is not a reason for despair. It is a call to live fully, to embrace each moment with awareness and gratitude. When we see the world through this lens, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The trees that stand, the homes that shelter us, the people we love, all become treasures, not because they are permanent, but because they are fleeting. The wildfires also reveal the fragility of the natural world we so often take for granted. The forests, teeming with life, are not infinite. They depend on us as much as we depend on them. When the balance is disturbed, when the soil is degraded, the water is polluted, the air is thick with smoke, it is not just nature that suffers, it is all of us. The fragility of life is not just a personal truth but a collective one, a shared reality that binds us to each other and to the earth. This understanding must awaken a deeper sense of responsibility within us. If life is fragile, it is also sacred. It is not something to be taken for granted or squandered in pursuit of fleeting desires. It is something to be nurtured, protected, and cherished. The fires that burn today are a call to honor this fragility, not with fear but with love and action. They urge us to create a world where life, in all its forms, is given the care and respect it deserves. Let us not wait for the smoke to clear before we act. Let us hold this awareness close, letting it guide how we live, how we treat one another, and how we care for the world that sustains us. For in recognizing the fragility of life, we also discover its strength. A strength that lies in a capacity to come together, to heal, and to rebuild. Not just for ourselves, but for all that shares this fragile, beautiful world with us. When calamities such as wildfires devastate our landscapes, it becomes impossible to ignore the profound interconnectedness of life on this planet. We are not isolated beings living in our own individual worlds. We are part of an intricate web that binds every living creature, every blade of grass, every gust of wind, and every drop of water together. The devastation of wildfires is not merely a natural event. It is a mirror reflecting the collective impact of humanity's choices. It reminds us that the responsibility to care for this earth does not rest on the shoulders of a few. It is a burden and a privilege we all share. For too long, we have operated under the illusion that our actions are isolated, that the decisions we make as individuals or even as communities have little bearing on the grand scale of things. But this is not the truth. The choices we make, what we consume, how we travel, the waste we produce, the energy we use, these choices ripple outward, influencing ecosystems far beyond what we can see. A forest fire in Los Angeles is not an isolated tragedy. It is the culmination of countless small actions, decisions, and neglects that, when added together, have disrupted the delicate balance of nature. Collective responsibility means understanding that our lives are deeply interwoven. It means recognizing that the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat are gifts from a living, breathing planet. These gifts are not infinite. They require care, balance, and respect. When we exploit these resources without thought, we set in motion a chain of events that inevitably circles back to us. Experiential. The wildfires are not just a natural disaster. They are a consequence of the collective choices humanity has made, often prioritizing convenience and short-term gains over long-term harmony. But recognizing our collective responsibility is not about assigning blame. It is about awakening to our power to create change. If the collective actions of humanity can lead to imbalance and destruction, then the collective actions of humanity can also heal and restore. Every individual has a role to play, and when those individual efforts are combined, the impact can be transformative. This responsibility extends beyond governments and corporations, though their role is undeniably significant. It lies in the hands of every person who inhabits this planet. It is about how we live our daily lives, how we educate our children, how we advocate for change in our communities, and how we respect the resources we often take for granted. It is about shifting from a mindset of domination over nature to one of partnership with it. Collective responsibility also means standing in solidarity with those who are directly affected by tragedies like wildfires. It is easy to feel disconnected from events happening miles away, but the truth is that the suffering of one part of the world impacts us all. When forests burn, the air quality deteriorates not just locally but globally. When biodiversity is lost, the intricate systems that support life on this planet are weakened. To care for those affected by wildfires is to care for ourselves, for we are all part of the same whole. This sense of responsibility must move beyond awareness and into action. It is not enough to feel sympathy or to acknowledge the problem. We must ask ourselves, what can I do? How can I contribute? Can I reduce my carbon footprint? Can I support sustainable practices? Can I advocate for policies that protect the environment? Can I inspire others to join this effort? The answers to these questions may vary, but the commitment to act is what matters most. The wildfires serve as a stark reminder that we are stewards of this planet, not owners. The earth does not belong to us, we belong to the earth. This planet is not just a resource to be exploited, it is a home to be cared for, a sanctuary to be preserved. Collective responsibility means embracing this truth, not as a burden but as an honor. It is a call to rise above individual interests and to work together for the greater good, for the well-being of all life. Let this moment of tragedy inspire unity and action. Let us come together, not just to extinguish the flames of destruction, but to ignite the flames of hope, resilience, and change. Together as a collective, we have the power to restore balance, to heal the earth, and to create a future where harmony between humanity and nature is not just a dream, but a reality. Healing is a journey that unfolds in two realms, the inner and the outer, both deeply connected and essential for true transformation. When we look at the devastation caused by wildfires, the immediate focus is often on the external damage, the forests reduced to ash, the homes destroyed, the communities displaced. This external loss is tangible, visible, and heartbreaking. But beneath the surface, there is another layer of healing that calls for our attention. The healing of the human spirit, the collective psyche, and the inner connection we share with the natural world. Outer healing begins with action. It is about rebuilding what has been lost, planting trees, restoring habitats, providing aid to those affected, and taking steps to prevent such tragedies in the future. This process requires resources, effort, and a commitment to caring for the earth as a living entity. It is a reminder that nature has an incredible ability to regenerate, but only when given the space and support to do so. As we heal the scars on the land, we must also consider the systems and choices that led to this devastation and work to correct them. However, outer healing alone is not enough. The wounds inflicted by such events run deeper than the physical damage. There is grief for what has been lost, grief for the lives uprooted, for the ecosystems destroyed, and for the realization that humanity's actions have contributed to these outcomes. This grief resides within us, a heavy burden that cannot be ignored or suppressed. Inner healing is the process of acknowledging this grief, of sitting with the pain and allowing it to guide us toward greater awareness and understanding. Inner healing is not a passive act. It requires courage. It is about facing the discomfort of our collective responsibility, the sadness of loss, and the fear of what the future might hold. But it is also about finding within ourselves the strength to move forward. This strength does not come from denial or avoidance, but from a deep recognition of our capacity to grow, adapt, and transform. At its core, inner healing is about restoring our connection to the earth and to each other. It is about remembering that we are not separate from nature. We are part of it. When we harm the environment, we harm ourselves, and when we heal the environment, we heal a part of our own being. This interconnectedness is both a source of vulnerability and a source of profound resilience. The process of inner healing calls us to cultivate a sense of presence and mindfulness. It asks us to reconnect with the rhythms of nature, to listen to the wind, to feel the earth beneath our feet, and to witness the beauty that still exists even in the aftermath of destruction. This connection reminds us of what we are working to protect and inspires us to align our actions with our values. True healing, both inner and outer, requires a shift in perspective. It is not just about fixing what is broken, but about creating a new way of being, a way that honors the interconnectedness of all life and embraces the responsibility that comes with it. It is about moving beyond the surface and addressing the underlying imbalances that have led to these crises, both within ourselves and in the world around us. In moments of crisis, when devastation unfolds before our eyes, the temptation to feel powerless can be overwhelming. It is easy to believe that the problems are too vast, the damage too great, and our individual efforts too small to make a difference. Yet this is precisely the moment when conscious action becomes not just a choice, but a necessity. A wildfire does not start without a spark, and similarly, meaningful change begins with small, deliberate steps taken by individuals who understand the power of their actions. Conscious action requires awareness, not just of the crisis at hand, but of the deeper patterns and choices that have contributed to it. It means looking beyond the immediate effects of the wildfire and examining the causes, the environmental imbalances, the reckless exploitation of natural resources, the policies and practices that prioritize short-term gain over long-term sustainability. Awareness is the first step, for only when we understand the roots of a problem can we begin to address it meaningfully. But awareness alone is not enough. Conscious action demands responsibility. It asks each of us to acknowledge that we are part of the problem and therefore part of the solution. Responsibility is not about guilt or blame. It is about recognizing our power to create change, no matter how small our contributions may seem. It is about understanding that every decision we make, what we consume, how we live, where we invest our energy, has an impact. The cumulative effect of these decisions shapes the world around us, for better or for worse. To act consciously is to move through the world with intention. It is to ask, with every choice, is this aligned with my values? Does this contribute to the well-being of the planet and those who share it with me? Conscious action is not passive. It is a deliberate and thoughtful engagement with life. It is about turning away from habits of convenience and embracing practices of care, even when they require effort or sacrifice. At its heart, conscious action is also about connection. It means seeing ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as part of a vast, interconnected whole. The choices we make do not exist in a vacuum. They ripple outward, touching lives and ecosystems in ways we may never fully see. When we act with consciousness, we honor this interconnectedness. We move from a mindset of separation to one of unity, recognizing that the well-being of the planet and all its inhabitants is intertwined with our own. Conscious action is both practical and profound. It is about supporting sustainable initiatives, advocating for policies that protect the environment, and holding corporations accountable for their impact on the earth. It is about reducing waste, conserving resources, and making choices that reflect a commitment to sustainability. But it is also about shifting the way we think and feel, cultivating a deep respect for the natural world and a sense of reverence for the life it sustains. This call for conscious action is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about taking the first step, however small, and continuing to move forward with intention and purpose. It is about inspiring others to join in, creating a ripple effect that transforms communities, nations, and ultimately the world. In the face of loss, devastation, and the profound challenges before us, we are reminded of the resilience inherent in both nature and humanity. The wildfires in Los Angeles are not merely a tragedy. They are a call to awaken, to recognize the fragility of life, the depth of our interconnectedness, and the profound responsibility we bear as stewards of this planet. The sense of beauty and fragility of life, the depth of our interconnectedness, and the profound responsibility we bear as stewards of this planet. As we come together to pray, let this not be a fleeting moment of reflection, but the beginning of a lasting commitment. Let us honor what has been lost by choosing a path of conscious action, one rooted in compassion, awareness, and a deep respect for the delicate balance of life. Inner and outer healing must guide our steps, reminding us that true transformation begins within and ripples outward into the world. This moment is a profound reminder that we are capable of more than we imagine. We can rebuild what has been destroyed, restore what has been damaged, and reimagine how we live in harmony with the earth. The fires may have consumed much, but they cannot extinguish our hope, our resolve, or our ability to create a better future. Let this tragedy not only bring us closer to the earth, but closer to one another, as we unite in purpose and strength. Together let us rise, not just to rebuild, but to create a world where balance, respect, and care are not exceptions, but the norm. Let us answer this call with open hearts and unwavering determination, for it is in these moments that the seeds of profound change are sown.